Hello, everyone. This is Barry Heidowitz. I'm a Director of Education Labs at XtremeLabs here. I'll be posting information about, my contact info. If you have any questions about courseware, labs, exam vouchers, or services provided by XtremeLabs, you can feel free to reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, I'll also include a link to the site where the recording for this presentation and other presentation like, presentations like it will be available. And otherwise, if you or anyone on your team, any of your associates are interested in presenting at future webinars like this, please drop me a line, let me know, and I'll follow you up from there. And with that, I'll hand it over to Juan. Thanks, Juan.
Thank you, Barry. I'm also happy to be here today. So thank you for joining us for this session. And today we will be talking about Power Automate Desktop, okay? The session is named Mastering RPA, Robotic Process Automation. And we will be learning how to boost productivity with Power Automate, okay? All this in less than an hour, I hope. And here, we will start with, about myself. My name is, like I said, Juan Vazquez. I'm based in Monterrey, Mexico. I've been a Microsoft certified trainer for almost 25 years or so. I started with SQL Server, Visual Basic. Then I started to work with .NET, then more SQL Server. And 5 years ago, we started working with Power Platform. We started with Power BI, implementing business intelligence solutions. Then we learned that this was a great opportunity for us as a business, creating solutions with Power Apps, and then create automation for our customers with Power Automate, and some other tools that are part of the solution, Dataverse, and all that suite of products, okay? So that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years, and also developing some software, mobile applications with Xamarin, then Maui, SQL Server, APIs, and all that kind of things. That's what I've been doing. So to start this session, I want to tell you about this Power Automate vision. And I really like this vision because basically what it says is that we should allow people or that to only focus on tasks where they can bring unique human value. Okay, what that means is basically that we can or we should automate tasks that are where we have tools that can do those tasks instead of having people entering invoices in a CRM and a ERP, because basically people's potential is limitless, okay? But their time is not. So that's what Power Automate is about. It's about automating processes with this tool, okay? So like many of you may know, a Power Platform is a suite of tools that allow people that not necessarily has an IT background, but they want to implement solutions like business intelligence, mobile applications, automate some process. So here, the idea is that you don't need to be a programmer in order to develop solutions. So let me just open, okay, Summit, there you go. Okay, so if you want to implement business solution, you can use Power BI, connect to different data sources, SQL Server, SharePoint, other databases, or probably Excel files. You can create solutions with Power BI. Okay, also, if you want to develop mobile applications or web applications that users will be able to use in their activities. You can use Power Apps, and you can create Canvas applications where these users could use the applications in their mobile devices or in their desktop equipment, or like all these tools you can create without programming, or at least with just a few lines of code. You can also create model-driven apps where you can basically connect to Dataverse, which is the database that comes with Power Platform. And then you can also create portals for your customers or your suppliers or any external entity. You can connect these websites using Power Pages. And in this case, you can only connect to Dataverse. That's a requirement for these websites. And then you can also use Power Automate to obviously automate process. And this process could be cloud flows, where you can trigger the process when you receive an email, when you get a new record in your database, or I don't know, probably a new folder is created in OneDrive, a new file, and then you can create other tasks like, hey, can I fill a template and then generate a PDF? You can do all those tasks with Cloud Flows. However, if you have some processes or some legacy applications that are installed on your desktop, on your computer, you can use Desktop Flow. So that's what we're going to see today. We want to create a solution where basically we will replace a process that is being doing manually, and we will automate this process with Power Automate. Okay, we can create other kind of processes like business process flow, but in this session, we will be talking about desktop flows and cloud flows. Also, we will be creating an AI model or an AI process that will be able to read information from some invoices, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing today. You can also create chatbots with Power Virtual Agents. Now it's the new brand is Power Copilot Studio, okay? So this was formerly, it was known as Power Virtual Agents, okay? So these tools allow you to create solutions for different purposes, okay? Business intelligence, mobile applications, automation, and obviously you have different tools like AI Builder, where you can create in models that allow you to get information from documents, from images, convert text to voice, voice to text, all those kind of things, okay? So also you have different connectors, whether you can create a project with Power BI using text files, CSV files, different connectors where you can get the data from, okay? So that's what Power Platform is, okay? Today, we will be talking about Power Automate, okay, that allow us to create an end-to-end solution to automate process, okay? We can create cloud flows, we can create desktop flows, and we have all these different activities that we can automate, okay? And we will see different part of a solution, okay? So we can use AI to process documents, forms, invoices, images, all these kind of tasks. We can do it with these AI models, okay? So that's one of the parts that we will be creating today. We will get information from an invoice, and then we will enter this information automatically into a CRM, okay? Also, we can create cloud flows that allow us to connect to OneDrive, our inbox, I don't know, probably also to a database. And basically, this process have two components, a trigger and actions, okay? Obviously, the trigger allow us to start the process, and then we define all the actions that will be executed inside this process, okay? But for legacy applications, you can use robotic process automation in order to execute this application and connect with cloud flows, okay? You can execute Windows applications, you can execute terminal applications, you can run PowerShell scripts. Basically, that's what Power Automate Desktop allow us to do, okay? So that's what hyper automation is. And obviously, Power Automate is the workflow designer and the orchestrator for all these activities, okay? Please feel free to ask any question. I'll be monitoring the chat window. Okay. Does it look better now, Hermine? My screen? Oh, good. Great, thank you. Okay, so we have different connectors, and we have all these activities available, okay? So that's what we will be seeing today. And user interface automation, like I said, is created with Power Automate Test, okay? So the idea here is that basically you can create automation at scale. It's easy to integrate, it's secure, it obviously accelerates productivity, and you can create intelligent automation with Power Automate, okay? It's not really complicated, but you gotta have a clear vision of what you need to do, okay? And Power Automate Desktop is basically the user interface where we will be creating this solution. It's like a macro recorder where you open the application, you execute all the steps, and then you create parameters for this process, okay? So that's what Power Automate Desktop is, okay? You gotta download Power Automate in order to be able to record these processes. Okay, so these desktop flows basically interact with local applications, with legacy applications, you can create scripts with VB scripts, JavaScript, PowerShell. So all these kind of features are available to you with Power Automate Desktop. Obviously, you can debug your processes, you can connect to the applications, you can read data from the application, as we will be doing in our demo. You can handle the different errors. In case you have an error, you can define what the process would be doing. You can also create attended executions where basically the computer should be unlocked, okay? But if you have a server or a computer where the users will not be logged in, you can configure unattended execution, okay? And obviously, all these processes can run concurrently, okay? So that's what we will be doing in the demo, okay? And like I said, you have more than 400 actions that you can integrate in your flows. You can query SQL Server databases, you can connect and read and write to Excel files, you can open your browser. Probably you want to pull data from a website when you can read the exchange rate for any currency. So you can do that, and you can also call these Power Automate Desktop flows. You can call it from the cloud flows, as we will be doing in the example, okay? So basically, you connect old applications, legacy applications with Power Automate Desktop, and you can access and execute other tasks with modern systems like APIs, but basically you can do this with cloud flows. Okay, so you have these two parts of Power Automate that you can connect in order to create a complete or a complete process, right? So here, this is what we're going to be doing today. I don't like theory a lot, so I prefer doing a demo. So these are the three parts that we will be doing today. Okay, we will start by creating a Power Automate desktop flow, and then we will configure an AI model to process the invoices. Okay, and then we will create a cloud flow to execute to receive the invoice. We will process the invoice with our model, and then we will execute the Power Automate desktop to enter the invoice in our legacy CRM. Okay, so here is the CRM that we will be using. So it's basically a demo that we use in a workshop name automation in a name. So I grab that, and basically I will be using to create a short demo for this. So just imagine a person receiving the invoices by email, opening this CRM, and then coming to invoices, and then creating the new invoice, enter the data, the contact, this is the contact email, and then you have the amount, and then the status is that you already have the invoice, and then you save this. So it's a really simple process for a small application, but you get the idea, right? So here what you need to do is you gotta go to Power Automate, to the portal, so you can go to makepowerautomate.com, where you will be able to connect to your environment. Obviously, I have a developer account, and then I have an environment created, RPA demo, and then here I have my flows. Right now, I don't have neither a cloud flow, neither a desktop flow. So I go here to desktop flow. I can create a new desktop flow, and then let's say new invoice, and that would be the name of the flow. So I click here on Launch App, and that will open Power Automate Desktop. Okay. Previously, I installed this tool. It's not. You can download from the Power Apps portal, and then once you open that, it will open Power Automate Desktop, and that's this tool. Okay, so it's loading, and basically this is the user interface for you to create this Power Automate desktop flow. So on the left side, we have the all the actions that we have available to create this flow. Okay, we will start by creating a system task. So here I can open system, and then we will be running an application. At the end of the process, obviously, we can terminate the process. So we will start dragging and dropping run application here. And then we have the application path, okay, which application we will be running. We have some command line arguments. We have other parameters, obviously, the Windows style. And then here, you can open the path for your application. Okay, remember, this is a legacy application, and then we can go to the folder where we have that application. So you look for the file, we have the application here, and then you can click here and then just click save. So that's the first step of our process. Okay, if I go here, I have this, I can save the flow, I can run it, and then I can start recording different steps. Okay, and those steps will be executed after we run our application. So to start, I will run the process and it will open the application. Okay, as you can see here, you have a variable that gives us the app process ID. If you want to close the application at the end of the process, you can use this variable to close this application. So you don't have different instances of the same application open. Okay, so here you can start recording the steps to create the flow. So I'm going to click here, recorder, and then I will click on this button, record, and then you can click here and perform the same steps that the person does. Okay, so I click on invoices, I click on new, I enter the information. Okay, ET Training LLC, Juan at tt.com, just like that. And the amount is 9,999. And the status is invoice. I click OK. And the last step is save the invoice. Once you finish, you click done, and you will be taken back to the Power Automate desktop. Okay, so as you can see here, I have, okay, I need to drag this to the beginning. You can do that. And then after running the application, I have all the steps that I did. As you can see here, I have all the information that I enter. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, so I'm going to close the application again. I'm going to run this. Let's see if that works. Okay, invoices. Okay, so this is running automatically. And then it saves the application and the process finishes. Okay, so basically we created the first part of our process. If you want to close the application after you finish, what you need to do is you need to add a terminate process here, like this, like here. And instead of looking for the process name, we can close by process ID. You have a variable here, and then you click here, and then you select the app process ID, and then you save it. For now, I want to disable this action because I still haven't finished, and I want to make sure that when I create the variables in the next step, the application is still working. Okay, so obviously this process needs to receive parameters. Okay, we want this that when we receive the email with the invoice, we process the invoice, and then we send the parameters to this flow. Okay, so what you need to do here is basically create those parameters here, and then create input parameters. The first one will be I don't know, probably account name. That is a text parameter. You have different parameters. You can actually receive a list, a table, in case you have different products for the same invoice. You can get numbers. For now, we will create only text variables. And the default value will be, I will change this to my account name. My account name. Okay, and then I click save, and then I create another 2 parameters. Okay, the other 2 would be contact email. Okay, the default value is my contact email, and then the external name will be the same. Okay, so I click save, and then I click input. Another parameter is invoice amount. So this could be a number. Obviously, for now, I'm gonna leave it as text. So the amount would be 123.99. Okay, the invoice amounts. Okay, so click save. You can also have output variables in case you want to, for instance, get the ID generated for the invoice. So I could do here output invoice number. Okay, that's invoice number here. Click save. And then what you need to do here is basically you want to replace the data that I enter. I want to replace this with my variables, okay? And make sure that it's working. So I double click here, remove or delete this, change this for the account name variable. Then I can click here, remove the email that I enter, and change with the new variable, contact email, and then look for the invoice amount variable, hit save, and there you go. You have this created. You have several parameters, and then you map to your step. If this works, basically you want to save this before anything happens, obviously. So you save your flow, and then you test it. Let's see if we see the new values in the flow, okay? Let's wait a few seconds. Okay, there you go. Let's run it. Let's make sure the application is not running, and then we can run it. Okay, there you go. A new invoice with the variables values. There you go. So click invoice, click set. Okay, so here you have the variables. Here you have the app ID, the app process ID, but we don't have the invoice number. And that invoice number should be this number. So how can we read this value? Because we can use it later, probably. So basically what we need to do is we need to add another step. You can look for UI components, and then you can get details of the UI element, okay? So you can drag it here, and then you can map this to this part of the application. So you click here, you click add UI elements, add UI element. So here, add UI element, and then I can click here. Obviously, I can click control and then click here. Okay. Okay, there you go. You get the text, and then you hit save. And as you can see, basically it says, I look for this text. Currently, this is the value. And then I have a new variable here named attribute value. I'm going to assign that value to a variable. Set variable. I can drag and drop after that step and say, I want this invoice number to be the attribute value. Double click here, save. I'm gonna save the flow, and then I can run this process again and make sure it's working. I can let me make sure I close the application. Let's close it, and then let's run it again. So there you go. It's running. It's creating a new invoice with the parameters value that I created. And then after it finishes, it will save. We'll save, and then it will pull the data from this element in the user interface. And as you can see here, the invoice number now is grabbing the value that it generated. Okay, so that's the first part of the process. That's our first component. I can click save, and then I can just close it for now. Okay, so that's the first part, the first component. The second part is, okay, so I can click here, refresh. Okay, so I have a new desktop flow, name new invoice. However, this needs to be called from a different flow or a different process. Okay, so what we need to do here is we need to create an artificial intelligence model. Okay, so what we can do here is we can go to AI Hub. We click here, AI models, and then we can create a process to extract information from documents. You can use this one, like extract information from invoices, but for our demo, I don't want so many values. I don't want the invoice number. I don't want the address. I don't want the customer name. I don't want I don't know. When you use this, it gives you more information like than we need for our demo. So I'm going to create a custom information model. Click here, and then I say, okay, you know what? I'm going to get information from some invoices. I can create a custom model. And then what we need to do here is basically we need to define which kind of which kind of documents we want to process. Okay, so it will start here, and then I'm gonna select this option. I don't want to select the invoices. I'm gonna create my own model. So click here, click next, and then I can create the different fields that I want to read from the documents. Okay, so I'm going to create only 3. Okay, it's pretty much the same. Account name, text file, text field, contact email, that's also a text field, and then invoice amount. Here, there you go. We have 3 fields that we want to read from our documents. Click next. After we do that, we can create a new collection of documents. I have a few samples here. I can add it from my computer. So I have this automation in a day. This is a workshop that we usually deliver. It's an 8 hours workshop. We usually do this in collaboration with Microsoft. So here I grab the documents. I have 5 different formats, and then I click upload. There you go. So let's wait for it to upload. Then we click done, and then we need to map our fields, our pieces of data. We need to map to these files. So what I need to do here is start mapping the samples that I provided for this model. So the first part is, this is my account name. You click here. So you select here. 1 sec. Let me again click here. This is the account name. Click here. This is contact email. And then we have the invoice amount. Okay, so we already mapped the first document. We go to the next one. So it's a process of basically creating the model, account name, then contact email, then invoice amount. So you can have as many documents as you want. You at least need to add 5 documents, five different formats, okay? So here, let's finish here. So this could be different format, different layouts. So here this will be, and there you go, invoice amount. The last one, we do the same. Account name, contact email, and then, okay, let's do this. There you go, invoice. So next, and then basically we have this, with this screen where it says, okay, the 3 different fields, you already map the 3 different fields in the 5 different formats. So you click train, it will take a couple minutes. So here you go to models, and then in the model it will take a while to train the model. It will give you the accuracy of the model, but let's allow this a few minutes to finish the train. So what we need to do now is create the third part of our process, okay? So we need to receive the invoice by email and then trigger the process, okay? So what we need to do here is we need to create a cloud flow. So we go to Power Automate again, and then instead of creating a desktop flow, we create a cloud flow, okay? So we can process that, the emails that we receive. So we click here, new flow. This will be an automated cloud flow, and we will name it new invoice received. And then we look for Outlook, because I have an Outlook account, and I look for this trigger. When a new mail arrives, I click create, and then basically I receive this. I set the trigger for this process. I can click here, and then I can start configuring the parameters for this process. So here I show all the parameters, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter only those emails that have a specific subject. In this case, this is new emails, okay? And only if the email has attachments, and I want to include the attachments for the flow. That's the first part, that's the trigger, and that will start our process as soon as we get an email with that subject and with attachments. Okay, so then we need to create a few variables in the process. You can add these actions, basically, like you look for variables, and then we need to set the variable, okay? We will basically declare these variables. No, we don't set the value just yet. We just initialize. So that's my bad, basically here. Something happened. Okay. Where are you? Let's add again an action. Initialize. So I don't need to set the value just yet. So I just need to initialize the variable. Click here. And then the variable name will be account name. It will be a text or a string. I don't have an initial value. I just want to declare it. Then I add, I can change the name, initialize account name. Okay, so that's the first variable. Then I create another name, contact, it's the same, initialize variable. Then we set to contact email. That would be an string. We change the name. It's important to change the name of these objects. So basically here it would be initialize contact email. That's part of the creating documentation for your processes. Then we create another one, initialize variable. And then would be invoice amount. We can create these as numeric values. However, for the sake of this demo, it's easy to work with text variables. Okay, so initialize invoice amount. Okay, so that's the first part, declaring the variable that we will be using. And then what we need to do is process every single attachment that we have on the email that we receive. So we have an action name applied to each. So you drag it, you create this process or this action. And then what we need to do here is we want to say, or we want to specify which collection we will be looping. Okay, so I click here, and then I have automatically, when an email arrives, you have the attachment collection. So I click here, and if you receive one invoice, 2, 3, doesn't matter, it will do the same for this file that you receive. Let me start saving this because yesterday I did the same demo and I forgot to click save, and then I refreshed the browser and gone, So that's the first part we need. But now we can go back because we need to execute our AI model, okay? So we want to go back. I will go back to the model. The model is, one sec. Let's open again, powerautomate.com. The AI model should be already trained, okay? So let's go to the AI hub. Let's wait a few seconds and then look for our model. It's important to rename it. So I'm gonna click here. Okay, you can edit. As you can see, you get, okay, your model is almost perfect. Okay, what that means is it will be able to pull the data from the invoices. Okay, so you have most of the documents working properly. Okay, before we can use the model, we need to publish it. However, I'm going to click edit. Let's go to the model again. Because it's important that you have a name that clearly identifies what the model will be doing. Okay, I forgot to do that at the beginning. So what I can do here is AI model for invoices, just something like that. Okay, you click rename, you click save and close. Let's wait a couple seconds. Thanks. Okay, there you go. Once you do that, you can close it. Okay. Then you can publish it. When you publish, it will be ready for using in our cloud flow. Okay, so that's what we need to do. Let's see if it finished. When it finished, we can go back to our cloud flow and use that model. So we can go here to our flow, and then we can add an action that is basically an AI builder. Okay, AI builder. We look for document, extract information from documents. That's the kind of model we created. Okay, so click here, and we should be able to find our model here. And then we specify, okay, will you receive this in an image? Will it be PDF? Will it be PNG file? For our example, I have an image. So basically here, what I want to do here is specify where we get the value from this information. So basically, it will come from the attachment. Okay, so that will come from the attachment. One sec. Okay. Okay. What is it? Content. Okay. We need to look for the attachment content. Okay. We don't want the ID. We don't want the attachment type. We want the bytes of the attachment. So once we do that, we can move to the next part of the process. And here, what we can do is we set the variable. Set variable. Set variable. And here, what we need to do is look for the variable. First, we need the account name. And then the value would be the values that will be returned from our AI model. So what I can do here is I look for account name, and then from your AI model, you get the account name value, and then obviously reset account name. It's easier to read what you're doing there. Set account name. We add another step here. Again, set variable. Set, what is it? Set variable, there you go. And then we look for the contact email variable, and we look for contact email value. Set contact email. Okay, so once you do that, we add another step or another action. Add action, variable, set variable, see more, set variable, and then we look for invoice amount. So we set here, and we look for the same value that is being returned from our AI model. So that will be amount. And we have this invoice amount value. So those are the variables. Remember, please set a name for your actions that clearly states what is this step is doing. So set invoice amount. And finally, the most important part of this flow, you can call your desktop flow. So you click here, desktop flow, here, and then you create obviously a connection, okay? What you need to do here is basically when you install Power Automate, you have a tool here named Power Automate Machine Runtime, okay? This is installed in your computer or in the server where you will be running the process. You log in, and then you look for you register your computer, your machine in Power Automate, okay? So it takes a few seconds, and then it will register your machine. You log in, and then you change the machine to the environment. You select here, and then you click register, okay? And that will allow you to select that computer, okay? So I'm not gonna do that because I already have, let's set the connection name. Let's set, I don't know, my computer. Okay, so you select the machine here. I'm not going to do that here because I already have the configure. You set the domain and username and the password. And then when you set that connection, you will send the parameter. Let's do that. That's mine. So I'm going to change to RPA demo. The machine will be configured. Obviously, here it's saying, hey, you want to change this computer to a new environment because I already had an environment working. Let's change it. And then I should be able to see that machine in the environment, in that step, okay? So let's wait for a few seconds. It's registering that machine in that RPA environment, okay? Second, okay, there you go, there you go. So it's connected. I will minimize this, and then I can set the connection name, my connection, or my PC, or the name you want. I want to connect with the current user. So the user that is logged in is the one that will be opening the application. So you look for the computer. Let me refresh it. I have the computer here. Sign in. And it should create the connection to your local computer. Okay. Okay. So this is my account. Okay. There. Okay. Let's wait a few seconds. And then you have all the parameters. Okay. Here I have all the parameters. Okay. Let me see it. Attended. Show parameters. Okay, desktop. Okay, the priority. And then let me go to settings. And let's hit save. Okay, I haven't selected the flow yet, so I forgot that. New invoice. And then I can map the account name, the contact name. Those are the variables that we declare in our parameters. So now we map these from my Cloudflow variables to my desktop flow. So account name, contact email. So invoice amount. So that's what I should be doing here. Let's click save. Once it's saved, you are ready to test it, okay? What you need to do here, let me disable, because I have another flow in my environment that is pretty much the same. So I don't want this to be triggered. So I go to my flows, and I'm gonna turn it off, okay? Because I have, in another environment, I have the same flow. So let's turn it off. Okay, so let's wait a few seconds. Okay, that's off. So I can go back to the other environment, RPA demo. I have the flow created. It hasn't run yet because I just created it. You can edit and test the flow. Okay, so you click test here. Let's wait for it to load. You can test it. You can test it manually. Obviously, this process will be triggered when I receive the email. So I need to do or perform that action. So I can go here. I can send me an email. Second. So let's send an email. Okay. So this is to my same account. Remember, I filter by subject, invoice, new invoice. And then you click attach. I have an invoice here. Basically, it's a JPG file. This is the invoice. And then I'm going to send it. Okay. When I send it, probably it will take a few seconds, triggering the first time. But we should see that the process will be triggered here. Okay. And then it will start declaring the variables, and then it will execute the AI model. And then once it gets all the information from the invoice, it will start executing our desktop application. Okay, so let's wait. There you go. It started, initialize the variables. It's looping through the attachments. I only have one attachment. It will start executing our AI model, and then it should trigger, it should trigger our desktop flow, opening the legacy application and passing the parameters and creating a new invoice. Okay, so let's wait a few seconds. It's taking, from my previous test, it was taking like 1.5 minutes, the whole process. So let's wait for it to run. In the meantime, do you have any questions so far regarding this part of, this solution? Because basically we created 3 different components. We created a desktop flow. We created an AI model. There you go. It's running. So it's taking leadware, contact, email, the amount, and setting the value. Obviously, I disable the step that is closing the application, but basically we have a new invoice here. If I can do the same, the process finished. If I go back, I can take a look. I can click on the process, and I see that I have an execution. Took 1 minute and 35 seconds. The status is succeed. So if I do the same with a different invoice, I have another invoice here. Let's see if that works. This other invoice, I changed the values. So, okay, same. Let's do this new invoice. And then we click on send. That should make it. Okay, it will open and it will create a completely different invoice. Okay, so let's wait a few seconds. Obviously, here it's important that you don't move the mouse or use the keyboard, because right now we are using an unattended model. Okay, we are allowing the process to take control of the computer. If you want, you can configure an unattended model or an unattended process. In that case, you don't need to be logged in the computer, and it will be running in the background. Okay, so that's something you can do when you are, let's see, it's running. It's taking 19 seconds. It will take 1 minute or so, and it would be doing the same with a completely different invoice, a different format, different values. And we will see how the application will be open. It will grab all the information from the invoice, and then it will run the process in our legacy application. Let's wait. There you go. Different data, different email, different amount. And that's it. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you. I wanted to explain how this works. Obviously, there is a lot of need of automating processes right now in the industry. So that's a great opportunity. I don't know if you have any question before we wrap it up. All good? Okay, so yeah, before we finish, basically, here is my contact information. We basically provide training, consulting, we develop software. And the other thing is, if you want to get certified, basically the exam is basically the PL 500 is the certification exam, and that will give you the certification for this robotic process automation. Okay, so that's important, and you have a different. You need to practice. Obviously, there is a training, official training, PL 500, and I think it's not really complicated. But what you need, like I said at the beginning, you need to know what you want to do in order to create these flows. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you. I hope it worked. It works for you. And like I said, we usually provide training. I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn and